Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. There are a number of parties working toward a swift resolution of this situation. At this point, I can report no known injuries or deaths and no structural loss. Local, state, and federal first responders are engaged in a cooling operation that is likely to have them working throughout the entire evening. Steps have been taken to contain possible contamination and minimize damage to wildlands and water supplies. The area has been evacuated in a quarter-mile radius, and residents beyond that have been put on notice for possible evacuation if needed. Emergency shelter has been set up in partnership with the Red Cross at Dry Hollow Grade School, located at 1314 East 19th Street in the Dalles. Anyone needing shelter should go there. I know I speak for many Oregonians when I say I am extremely grateful to the myriad of public and private individuals and organizations across 2 states who have responded to this situation very swiftly and very effectively. I'd like to turn it over now to Dan Hamill, Division Chief, Mid-Columbia Fire and Rescue. And if either media or the public has questions, the Gmail address is mosiermp70@gmail.com. Well, it's horrific to have something like this happen anywhere, particularly in the incredibly gorgeous Columbia Gorge. So what I was pleased to see is the first responders acting so quickly. As I mentioned, as far as we know, no injury or deaths at this time, and that's because of the quick action taken by first responders in this community. So I'm very pleased to see the quick response that we saw.
A lot of folks are sounding off just about the fact, that crude oil is being hauled through places like this. What do you say to those folks?
At this point in time, my comments are that I am so pleased to see how quickly our first responders acted and made sure that we got people out of the area as quickly as possible.
Will you revisit, though, the issue at some point down the road about the oil trains coming through?
At this point in time, I'm focused on making sure that we secure the area, that people are safe, and that we get this matter resolved as quickly as possible.
Governor Brown, there's a perception that ODOT is too cozy with the rails. We're going to hear from Union Pacific in just a second. This is something that doesn't need to be studied as far as inspections and things like that go. What's your response to people who say that ODOT had a regulatory job to ensure things like this doesn't happen?
I think there's any time that there is an accident of this nature that there needs to be an investigation of the situation, and I am confident there will be.
Good evening. My name is Justin Jacobs. I'm with spokesman for Union Pacific here in the Western region. Currently what we know is 11 rail cars from a 96-car Union Pacific crude oil train derailed just west of Mosier at around 12:20 p.m. Oil was released from at least one rail car, and several of the cars are currently aflame. Union Pacific hazardous materials experts responded to the scene along with local, regional, and state officials. Union Pacific is also collaborating with air monitoring and other contractors from firefighting foam and other equipment such as boom for oil spill contamination. The train originated in Eastport, Idaho and was headed for Tacoma, Washington, carrying Bakken crude oil. The tank cars on the train have been upgraded to the 1232 standard. As the governor and local law enforcement stated, fortunately there were no injuries in this incident. The cause is currently under investigation. We would like to thank the quick response and coordination efforts of the local first responders, local law enforcement, and local officials. We apologize to the residents of Mosier, the state of Oregon, and the broader Pacific Northwest region for any inconvenience this incident may be causing. That's all the information that we have at this time. We will update you when we're ready. Thank you for your time.
When was the last time Union Pacific looked for a sun kink, and is Union Pacific looking at the possibility of a sun kink being related to this with the heat that came through the gorge today?
I am unaware of that. I have to get back to you on that. Like I said, as the governor stated, we're focused on the safety and the coordinated cleanup efforts right now.
You call this an inconvenience. Is that how you would characterize this for the gorge? An inconvenience?
Anytime something like this happens, is very unfortunate, and we apologize. We're going to work with the local first responders to get it cleaned up as quickly as possible.
We've been told the 1232 cars are some of the newer cars, some of the safest on the line, that cities are told won't catch fire. Can you comment on that?
I don't have additional information on that right now. That will come out as we progress with the investigation. Like I said, right now we're just focusing on the safety and the cleanup efforts, and we appreciate the local support.
We have time for one more question.
You mentioned that oil was released from the cars. Do we know if any of that oil has made it into local waterways?
We don't know that right now for sure. The guys out on scene right now will be able to give you that in an update. Thank you.
Thanks.